Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Be Your Own Bank podcast. It's everybody's favorite time of the week, the weekly roundup. Whoosh.
Hey, guys. Thanks for tuning back in. I'm at home, but we're still going to deliver you some high quality content. So let's get into it. This week, we want to talk again about Terra and how it has upgraded to a new network. What does that mean? What are airdrops? All the things surrounding that. Then we want to get into how some of the sharks, Mark Cuban, Kevin O'Leary, are talking about crypto right now as it's going down and how maybe we need to not worry as much about this market going down. Finally, we want to talk to you about how celebrities are getting into the NFT space and how big exchanges are now starting to sponsor them even more with this market downtrend. So let's get into Terra, because a lot has gone on in the last few weeks, and we want to explain to you what they're doing. So Terra 2.0 just launched on May 27th, and basically it is a hard fork of the old chain, the one that failed.
So go over hard fork just real quick, so that because we talk about it sometimes, but we don't really talk about what that means for the technology side of it.
Absolutely. So again, soft fork versus hard fork. Soft fork is just a software update, like going from Windows 10 to Windows 11. Hard fork is when we have a totally new cryptocurrency that is minted off of the old chain. So basically, they duplicated the Terra Luna chain and created a new coin that is minting blocks on a parallel chain. So what that means is now we have the old Terra, which is now Terra Classic, and the new one, which is Terra 2.0.
And it's Luna is the ticker, right? So Luna C, funny, right? Luna C is Luna Classic. And then you have Luna, which is Luna 2.0.
Luna 2.0. Yeah.
That's what you'll see on the exchanges.
Yeah. So it makes it a little more complicated when you're transacting, because if you have your Terra Station, your client-centered wallet, you're basically sending to the same address. However, you have to toggle between the different radio frequencies. So there's the main net, and then there's the classic. So if you wanted to send UST or Luna Classic, you'd have to be on the classic network on the wallet, which is a toggle on the settings. But if you're sending to an exchange, it's a little bit easier because they just do it for you. They'll sort it into the necessary frequency or wallet that you then can send from.
So for instance, if you've got a Coinbase or a Kraken or a Binance, and like ERC20, right, is Ethereum's blockchain, but everybody has clones of it. So if you have Uniswap, Chainlink, all these are the same blockchain. So they have this ERC20 code that is the same for each deposit. So you'll see
they run on Ethereum, but they're a totally different currency.
Right. So the nice thing about the exchange is that you send it to the one ERC20 address, Ethereum, Chainlink, Uniswap, whatever it is, and they'll know which account to put it in.
Sure. So hard fork just occurred last week. And now what does that mean? So basically what they're trying to do is preserve the ecosystem that was thriving on the original Luna, but then started to fail because of this whole UST decoupling. And there's a lot of great projects like Mirror Protocol, Anchor, if that can be revived. There's a lot of projects. And so they're going to migrate to this new blockchain. And the other idea with this new 2.0 is to try to make some of these retail investors like us whole by airdropping these coins. So they have a time schedule. They have specific qualifications that if you are holding Luna pre-attack versus post-attack, you are entitled to some free 2.0 coins.
Free.
Right. So basically how it works is they have this timing schedule. If you were under a certain threshold, you're going to get 30% of these new coins on May 27th. So you should already have them if you have them in Terra Station. Some of these exchanges are supporting it, like Nexo and Kraken.
Yeah. So for instance, I had 15 Luna at one point. I know. I was like $1,500 worth of Luna. That became less than a penny. So I got 30% of that 15, which was roughly 4.25 of these new Luna airdropped immediately in my account. Super cool. So I got my $25 back.
$25 doesn't really make up for 1,500
No,
loss.
it doesn't. It doesn't.
However, he will also get another 70% over the next 2.5 years. So that's kind of the vesting period for lower stake Luna holders is you get 30% up front, and then over the next 2.5 years, you'll get the remaining. So for me, in my Terra Station wallet, I got, 36 new Luna, and then over the next 2.5 years, I'll get my remaining 70% deposited right into my wallet. For some of the whales, they're going to have to wait up to 4 years to get their Luna. So they've really prioritized retail investors over these institutions, which I think is good. It helps make sure the market isn't flooded too much, and it tries to make the retail investors whole before the big guys, which is a better way to go about it, because a lot more little people lost than the big guys.
So in 3 years, I'll have my $80 back.
Yeah, you'll have your $80 back. So for you, the cost of the new coin needs to go up to about $100 a coin.
Right, which is basically where I bought it at.
Right, in order to get your money back. And I'm not optimistic about it, but if this ecosystem can survive, then this would be a crazy comeback, and you could potentially get your money back.
But the main thing is that all of this tech that has been built on this blockchain is not just, throw the baby out with the bathwater. All of these ideas that are utilizing this, because Terra's blockchain is cheap, fast transactions. So
it's cheap, and there's some good decentralized applications. I mean, again, Mirror Protocol had an exploit this last week, lost 2 million. In the grand scheme of things, not that big of a deal. But it just shows that there's a lot more developments and tweaks that need to happen. But the whole idea of Mirror Protocol is to be able to mirror the stock market in crypto. So you can buy Apple stock, or you can buy Netflix stock in the form of a cryptocurrency. I mean, there's some use to that. So they have these really cool protocols that are now migrating to the new version. And if they can survive and help propagate this new Luna, that has inherent value because of the ecosystem, then potentially they could make a comeback, and some of us retail investors might be able to get our faith back in the projects because the value is going up, and we're getting our airdrop value back.
Well, and let's be honest, right? I mean, people have short attention spans, short memories. I mean, there's been hacks before on other blockchains, and they've been forgotten.
I wouldn't call it a hack, more of an attack, but yeah.
This was an attack, yeah. But
this was an attack.
Just in general, like, we're still in this Wild West. So we have to live with that. And yeah, I think the sooner we get Do Kwon out of the picture, the better. But who knows if that'll even be possible.
Yeah, I think Terra needs a new leader, or a better PR person for sure. But again, like you said, memories are short. Ethereum's the second largest cryptocurrency, and they had an issue with a decentralized autonomous organization way back when, had to make an emergency hard fork. And that's why we have Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. So they had issues early on. I would say this is an early on issue for Terra. If they can recover like Ethereum, it could be big. But again, not holding out hope.
Here's hoping I get my $80 back. I really need that $80.
Moving on, though, Mark Cuban is addressing that although there are a lot of doubts, fear and greed index is really low. A lot of fear in the market because we're down, 50%, even more in some of these other cryptocurrencies. He's still saying that where we're at with crypto right now is like the early days of the internet. It's like the .com boom. We've said this before, there is an immense opportunity when things get boring, when the market starts going down, to start accumulating and building wealth.
Well, and they're talking about, like NFT projects are still going on. Like you would think that this bust, if you will, is going to take money out of NFTs, but Cuban and Mr. Wonderful, they're big into the technology, the software aspect of it, and comparing it to the .com boom and the fact that early adopters, think about it. We say it all the time. It's like you use the internet every day, like for hours and hours and hours. You couldn't live without it. They're saying, yes, that's going to be the case for crypto sooner than later. I mean, Mr. Wonderful said it's going to be the 12th sector of the economy. So I believe that. And I think
I do too.
Them being in these places of power, and Mr. Wonderful wasn't always a believer.
No, he was a skeptic for sure.
And so having these guys who, like him or hate him, they're successful. And so if they see the value in this and they understand that, the market's overinflated, there's money coming into projects with no intrinsic value, of course there's going to be a crash, I think.
And a lot of these projects won't survive.
Right. How many cryptos?
A lot of them won't survive. There's almost 20,000 different cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
I would bet that only 100 of those survive the long term.
Yep.
But
it's because of their software, because of their added value. It's because they give you something. There is something tangible there that is making people's lives better, that it's optimizing economies. It's doing, it's.
Yeah. I mean, that's just it. Is we are in a new money revolution, and a lot of the skeptics are those that don't understand it. And when you start to understand it, you become more curious and less skeptical, I feel like. And the more these institutions get in, the less speculative this market, the less volatile this market, and the more sustainable it will be, because people adopt efficiency, people adopt things that make their lives easier. And this is where we're heading.
Exactly. Well, and I think the thing that O'Leary was saying too is that the stable coins is the low hanging fruit, is the minute you regulate that, now the stock market can actually invest in crypto. Right now we're doing a little ETF action, people are going to Canada to get some investments, but once we can actually regulate a stable coin, now we've moved the ball forward. And I think that's when Bitcoin shoots through the roof.
Yeah, I agree with Kevin. I think going towards the easier regulations helps branch out into the more complicated regulations of some of these additional cryptocurrencies that have more features that need more in-depth regulation. But you regulate US dollar coin, and now it makes it easier to branch out and get more comprehensive regulations to make this a viable 12th sector. So enough about that. Moving on. Finally, we got to talk about Kanye, who has been against NFTs, but is now going to do NFTs.
Yay.
I know, it's exciting.
No. His name, Ye, is his name. He legally changed it.
He changed his name.
Yay.
Great. Why isn't it Ye?
It should be Ye, right?
Because it's the Yeezys. Yeez us.
Yeez us, right?
Yeah.
Yeez Louise. That would have been good.
Yeez Louise. I like it. But so he's finally getting into NFTs. He was totally against them, but now,
there's money in it. Yeah.
There's money in it. Yeah.
I mean, Snoop Dogg is making so much money, I think, in Sandbox because he's, licensing like cars and skins and all this stuff.
It's genius.
It's genius, right? And it's rudimentary like content, but man, if it's got Snoop's logo on it and you can sell it as an NFT.
Oh yeah.
People are buying it. They're snooping it up.
I love it. And also, exchanges are trying to endorse these celebrities. Now, Binance is now endorsing Abel Tesfaye, the Canadian superstar singer. Abel. Abel Tesfaye, you know.
Abel Tesfaye?
Tesfaye, yeah. He's big. He's a Super Bowl performer. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Abel Tesfaye, The Weeknd.
Oh, The Weeknd. Why don't you just lead with The Weeknd? So
he's partnered with Binance now. They're sponsoring his tour. Binance donated $2 million to his humanitarian fund. And, you know, they're sponsoring his new global tour, trying to integrate Web3 technology to enhance the tour and get people immersed in this new internet.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I would love to see what it looks like and how they're going to add and integrate that technology. But it just shows that they see celebrities are the influencers, that people buy into what celebrities are doing. So, of course, targeting them makes sense.
And then they're getting paid gobs of money.
Creating their own NFT collection, selling it. But I mean, the other thing too is this is benefiting charity, which is super cool. The NFT collection that they're going to build with The Weeknd, 5% of the proceeds are going to benefit that same humanitarian charity. So everybody can win.
And make money.
I like that. And make money. Of course, the rich people are going to get richer with this, but you don't have to miss the train. You can start out dollar cost averaging.
But that's huge. Imagine, imagine the actual concerts, and you got Binance as the sponsor at
the largest exchange
at the actual concert, in the world. And then in the metaverse. And I'm sure they're going to do some they're going to do a better job than Facebook's Foo Fighters concert. I can guarantee you that.
I was going to say, they'll probably
guarantee you that
for sure. Yeah.
They're going to do The Weeknd better.
They're gonna
than the Foo Fighters. Got
Tesfaye is gonna kick it out of the park.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it makes total sense that they're teaming up with these big names, and that's what we're missing is the buy-in, the adoption, but it's going to keep growing exponentially. And with that, the more money invested, the more people invested, the more people utilizing these blockchains, these technologies, the more value is going to add over time. And that $100,000 Bitcoin level isn't so crazy after a while.
So Bitcoin's market cap is 800 billion and the total equities market on the planet is over 100 trillion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room for growth. There's a lot of room for growth.
So much room for growth.
Especially based on this technology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it's the next logical step. And I've started reading this book called The Bitcoin Standard. It's one of the most popular Bitcoin books out there. Michael Saylor has a foreword in it, who's arguably the biggest Bitcoin proponent, MicroStrategy CEO. But the thing that blew my mind as I was starting to read it, is that the original price of Bitcoin used to be 0.009 cents. That was the first documented value of Bitcoin, 0.009 cents.
Well, and how much were you mining per day at that point too?
Oh, I mean, probably hundreds.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it to think about. But what is worth to think about is 800 billion versus 100 trillion. So, and it's the 12th sector of the economy. That's worth thinking about.
Well, the other thing too is these big top shot rich guys are pouring millions and billions of dollars. The Grayscale CEO, I think they're managing over $10 billion worth of Bitcoin, over $5 billion worth of Ethereum, and they're not even phased.
Right.
They're not even phased by this downturn because they know it's going to
buy more. They'll just buy more.
Yeah, and they'll just buy more. So they're waiting for us retail investors to get out.
Exactly. They're freaking out the retail investors, weeding out the weak hands. That's why you got to have those diamond hands. And that's why you got a dollar cost average. And you will get to the pinnacle and then it'll crash. But hopefully
you won't sell at the top.
You can get a couple bucks out once we hit the $5 trillion market cap, once we hit the $10 trillion market cap. So it's coming. I can feel it.
Are you in?
I feel it coming. I feel it coming.
Yeah, that's The Weeknd, right? That's Tesfaye right there. That was a good rendition.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So what we're saying is dollar cost average. We're not financial advisors, and don't miss out. That's the roundup.
Let's take a look at those charts. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Right now, we're just under 30K over the last couple weeks. Since that crash, we have been moving back and forth between 28 and 32, but it's been respecting that support level. There's a good chance we continue to grind back and forth, maybe grind up a little bit for another month or so. And then it looks likely we will continue moving downwards. 25 would be next, followed by 20. Hopefully 20 is our bottom. If not, then we could see 18, but it is looking more bearish, and the sentiment is also bearish. I would be looking for opportunities to sell the rallies, lock in some of that profit, and live to fight another day. Let's take a look at another chart. We have a Elliott wave formation, which is just a 5-move pattern. So you can see 1 move down, 2 moves up, 3 moves down, 4 moves up, and then 5 is the final move down. So we could be in between 3 and 4, which would mean there would be a small rally, but chances are we do go one more leg down before any sort of recovery could happen. The one potential bright spot could be, if we take a look at the 2-week chart, zoom in here, you can see the last month here, right? So 2 weeks per candle. You can see that the current candle is a potential inside bar. Now, what that means is the top and the bottom fall completely in between the previous candle. So this is either a continuation pattern, meaning we're going to continue to go downwards, or if this is the bottom, this is also a pattern that would show a potential reversal. If this is an inside bar, that it's a reversal on the 30K support, then that could be a big move up and potentially break our negative bear cycle. So that is a positive potential, but once again, I'm more bearish on the market at the moment. If we take a look at total market cap, same thing, we've been grinding on this support, this 1.2 trillion. And if Bitcoin decides to go down, it's going to take all the other coins with it. Once again, if you're in profit, take a little profit. If you got in later and you are not in profit, then wait it out. Dollar cost average. And speaking of which, our dollar cost average for this week is SIA coin, SC. It's half a penny right now. So you can grab a bunch of those for cheap. It's basically at the scene of the crime from its last pump. Could be a good buying opportunity. Next, we have XTZ, Tezos. Tezos has hit this support line. It's been respecting it for about a week. We could see a bounce. I think Tezos is a good opportunity. And lastly, NEO. Once again, this one has completely reversed all the way back to square one, basically. $11.50 from 140 at its last peak. So you might want to take a look at NEO. That's it for the charts, gang. We are the Bit Bros. Remember, we are not licensed financial advisors. All content is intended for educational purposes only. Please do your own research and only risk what you're willing to lose. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Please leave a like. Please give us a subscribe. We really appreciate all your comments, all your support. And you can also check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.